Rachel with Maddie, and today she and I are going to work on drop it and leave it. I saw on your training sheet that that's only a sometimes, that she listens to that. So I want to make that sometimes all the time. Now, with drop it and leave it, it's really important to remember when you use those things. Drop it is for when she already has something in her mouth, and leave it is before she picks something up. So I have a couple of toys here that I'm going to try to entice her with. So hopefully she'll pick them up so we can practice drop it kind of while I go over some other things with you. Now drop it is for anything that she has in her mouth that you don't want her to have. Or that you want her to give back. So if she picks up a shoe of yours, you tell her to drop it. If you're trying to play fetch and you want the ball back, you tell her to drop it so you can throw it again. That's the same. Now with leave it, it's really important that you only use leave it for things that she is never ever supposed to have. So if we were playing fetch or something, I would not tell her to leave that toy. I wouldn't say leave it for that because, say, this is her toy. She gets to play with it. You know, she can have it whenever she wants, kind of thing. And you don't want to use leave it for her food, like when you're feeding her. If you're having her do a sit and wait, you tell her to wait, stay back from the food, but you wouldn't tell her to leave the food because the food is for her, it's her bowl, she's allowed to have that. Now you can control when she gets it, but leave it means she doesn't ever get to touch it. So leave it would be good for things around the house like pillows on the couch, your shoes, anything that a puppy like her might decide looks fun to chew on or to carry around. You can use leave it for like people food. So if you're cooking in the kitchen and a piece of food drops and she goes for it, you can tell her to leave it because she's not welcome to have that. And also leave it is really good in case she gets into anything that could be harmful to her. Also, if you're taking her out on a walk and she really wants to smell perhaps what another dog left behind and you don't want her getting around that for obvious reasons, you can tell her to leave it and continue on your walk. So, with drop it, she does not look interested in these toys whatsoever. She's kind of annoyed with me waving them in her face. But I'm still going to go over with you what the drop it will look like, even though she's not actually hanging on to it. So, I'll just do it standing up. Say Maddison is hanging on to this part of the toy, and I'm trying to take it from her. What I want to do is I'm going to take one of her treats and hold it to the side of her head like this. So imagine Maddison is right in front of me here. I hold it to the side and I say drop it. Now the reason why I use a treat for this is because if you're just trying to take something from a dog, they are hanging on to it for a reason. They really want it. They don't want you to take it away and to never get it back, anything like that. And you don't want to play tug of war with them because they will be a little bit more desperate to hang on to it. Instead, you hold the treat out as a trade. So you say, hey, if you give up this toy for me, I'll give you this delicious treat. And so you hold out the treat and you trade toy for treat like that. And by holding out the treat, not only does she get a trade, she gets something out of dropping it. It's a good deal for her. But it's nice because by holding it to the side, she actually has to turn her head, open her mouth so she can get the treat, and it opening her mouth, she drops this and you're able to take it away. Then you give her the treat and reward her for a good drop it. Remember, it's always important to use the command in the praise. So she's hanging on to it, you say drop it. She takes a treat, you say good, drop it Maddison, good girl. And there you have drop it. Now, if there is a toy that she is more interested in at home, I really suggest, playing fetch with her and telling her to drop it every single time she brings it back to you, and just, continue the fun game like that. And always have the treats on you. So, because you're still practicing it and she's not doing it 100%, you really want to encourage her to do it 100% by always giving her a treat. Now, if she gets super food motivated, you want to kind of test her and so that she's not treat dependent, because of course using the treats is to work up to teach her the command so that she will do it all the time regardless of treats. So once she really starts getting it, you can do it, you know, every other time she gets a treat when you say drop it, and gradually working away from the treat so she gets one every time. So if she's hanging onto a toy like this, you say drop it. She turns her head and says, good, drop it, good girl, and you have the toy free. Okay, so that concludes drop it, since she is not interested in the toys we have to offer here. So I'm going to go over leave it with her. Now for leave it, in order to not confuse her, I have some objects that are just kind of common household things that Madison has no business touching. But if she is quick and does go for them, and she picks them up, they aren't going to harm her. So here I have a roll of tape that I'm going to put in front of her. Now, I'm going to get her to stand up, and I'm going to be kneeling down so I'm on her level. And this is the way to really practice leave it, you know, kind of a focused setting. And so hopefully she can take those skills elsewhere, so you can tell her leave it, you know, whenever you need to, and she will do it. So for leave it, what I'm going to do to really show her what I mean by it is I'm going to put this on the ground, get down, and as soon as she goes to sniff it, I'm going to swipe my hand between her nose and the object and say leave it, and just continue that every time she goes for it. Now by doing that, you know, my hand is getting in the way, you know, her line of vision with the thing, and it kind of catches her attention. So she's looking at the object, this hand swipes in front of her face, it kind of, you know, surprises her. And then when she stops going down to sniff the object, then she gets praise. Now, what I like to do with the leave it command is I give her the treat, and I hold out the treat, and I tell her, take it. Instead of just giving her the treat and praising her for a good leave it, I hold it out like this and say, take it. So she knows leave it means she doesn't touch it, take it means she does. So you could use take it with her toys that she plays with, but don't use leave it with her toys. So let's see here. So no treat in your hand at first, because you need to just swipe your hand in front. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. No, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good girl. Good girl. Take it. Good girl, Maddison. Okay. That was good. Oh, she just wants love. She's all wet from the water park, so don't want too much love. So that was really good. She still would kind of go for it, but you could see she laid down, she lost interest, and so I gave her a treat and I told her to take it. She could have it. So, eat it. Good girl. You can see there she stopped focusing on it. Good girl. Take it. Good girl, Maddison. Okay, so she doesn't care about this roll of tape anymore. Let me try a dog collar. So this is a used collar. It's been on a dog. It smells like a dog. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting to her. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good girl. Good girl, Maddison. Take it. Good girl. Okay, that was really good. She knows that when I start saying good girl that she's going to get a treat. So that's good. You can use that to your advantage right now. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good girl. Good girl. Take it. Good girl. So you can see when she stops going for it, she's still looking at the object, but she's not going for it anymore. She pauses, and she's just kind of waiting to see what happens next. That's when I praise her for a good leave-in. So now this is the last object I have for today. This is a measuring cup that we use to measure food for the boarding dogs here. So I can see little bits and pieces of kibble left on it, and it smells like kibble. So this will be the ultimate test for her, because she does love her food. Maddison, come here. Good girl. Come here. Sit. Leave it. Leave it. Good girl. Leave it. Take it. Good girl. Good girl. Leave it. Good girl, Maddison. You're a good girl. You're so smart. Take it. Good girl. Now I'm making sure she doesn't go back to it after she gets the food. Leave it. Good girl. Good girl, Maddison. Take it. Good girl. Okay, that was really, really good. So, she'll kind of go for it, but she does stop herself, and she's really responsive to the no noise. That's a that I was doing. She seems to respond to that. So I would assume you use that at home, and if you don't, dogs respond really well to it in general. It catches their attention. They're like, whoa, what was that? And it doesn't sound very nice. So by telling her to leave it and it's kind of reinforcing the command, and she did a really good job. So hopefully this helps you at home if you practice these tips, as well as keep doing what you're doing, since you're obviously doing a really great job with Maddison. Hopefully this will help you to get that drop it and leave it 100% of the time, not just sometimes. So as Rachel and Maddison, we're working on drop it and leave it.